Hi, hello, hello, hello. How are you? How are you doing? I hope you had a great week. You're having a great weekend. I'm doing pretty good. No complaints here. The weather this week has been wild. It was like 50 degrees one day, and the next day it was 20 and snowing and icy and gross. And now it's gonna be in the 70s this coming week, which is like, I mean, Midwest winters are usually all over the place, but this has to be the weirdest winter I've I've ever seen. Anyway, nobody's here to hear me talk about the weather. So today's gonna be a story time, like a story time slash Neopets gameplay hybrid type video again. But I just want to say, actual Neopets centered content is returning, is coming back to my channel. I've been brainstorming like crazy, and I've got some really good ideas kicking around. Some tier lists that nobody has done before. Some really fun. Well, I think they're fun. Neopets themed videos. The How to NC Trade video, of course, is still coming. I've also been squirreling away all of my Nerc mids so we can do a big blowout Nerc mid gambling video. So yeah, having ADHD is a tricky bitch because, and not even just with YouTube, just with anything and everything in general. It's like I have all these ideas, all these things I want to do, and the key is finding that like perfect intersection between having the time, just simply having the time to do them, having the motivation to do them, and then having the focus to do them. That's the challenging part. But yes, today's another story time, but Neopets centric content is on the way. So yeah, let's just get into the story time, hey? So I feel like I have lived 1,000 lives in this one lifetime. Like, I have traveled the full spectrum of human experience. I've experienced awful, horrible things. I've experienced fun, wonderful, exciting, great things. And I've experienced some of the strangest, what the fuck, I can't believe that happened things. And this story is one of those strange things. You may have read the title of this video and thought, like, you ruined a wedding, like, okay, dramatic, okay, clickbait. And yes, maybe, but also no, like, definitely not clickbait. I'm sure the young woman went on to have a beautiful wedding day, and maybe she looks back on this and laughs. I hope so. But I for sure ruined a part of her wedding day. Definitely made it so that her pictures didn't turn out as well as she wanted them to, and I for sure stressed her the fuck out on top of an already very stressful day. So, okay, let's get into the story. So, a few days ago, a channel called Robert Reacts posted on his community tab something like, did you used to play Neopets, or did you play Neopets? And Robert Reacts is Robert Welsh's second channel. And if you don't know who Robert Welsh is, he is a very talented and experienced makeup artist. He's on like the beauty makeup side of YouTube. And what does this story have to do with Robert Welsh? Nothing, absolutely nothing. I just wanted to mention his channel because I love his content, and it was just kind of crazy seeing him mention neopets. It was like, whoa, what a small world, like what a coincidence, kind of thing. Highly recommend if you're not so much into like makeup stuff. Highly recommend checking out his Robert Reacts channel. He's so entertaining, so engaging, and just seems like an all-around wonderful human. Okay, so nothing to do with Robert Welsh, but many moons ago, I was also a makeup artist. Like that was what I did for a living for years. So we have to hop in our time machines for this one and go back many years. It all started 2008. I was hired as the supervisor of the whole beauty department of a department store. And not a lot of actual makeup application involved in that job. It was mostly like paperwork, running sales reports, doing things with inventory, taking down and putting up displays, doing all that kind of, and then obviously supervising the other employees in that department. So not a lot of makeup application. A little bit here and there I got to do, but not a lot. And I got really into just makeup. I thought it was so fun. I loved learning about all the different products and what they did. And I eventually outgrew that position. And I wanted to get more into actually doing makeup. So, and during this time I was like really trying to learn how to do my own makeup, like different techniques and different looks and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I outgrow that job and I get hired at Sephora. I interviewed, I got hired on the spot. And then I worked at Sephora for a few years. And I started out at, I don't know. So this is back in like 2010, right? This is before the beauty world, the beauty industry, like exploded into what it is now. I actually kind of think of the beauty industry as like pre and post this eyebrow. Like when this eyebrow hit the scene, the whole game changed. If you know, you know. So this is pre-eyebrow days that I worked at Sephora. So I don't know what it's like there now, if they still have the same positions or what they're called, but I started out as a color consultant. So the store was broken up into two main, well, there were like the cashiers, and then there was color, which was all of the makeup, and then skin, which was obviously like skincare, hair care, body stuff, like appliances, like hair dryers, things like that. So I was a color consultant, which meant that I worked with makeup. Super fun job. One of the most fun jobs I've ever had, while also being one of the most stressful. Go, 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 constantly from the time you clocked in to the time you clocked out. You were going, because it was always so busy in that store. So as a color consultant, I got to do makeup on people. Just whether it be like somebody wanted to do a full face of makeup, or they just wanted to try something, or they wanted a foundation match, or just things like that. But as time went on and the store, started implementing new things, they put in like a brand new, much bigger place to sit down clients or guests or whatever they're called, to like do their makeup, right? And it was called the beauty studio. So I got I guess promoted. I don't know if it was really a promotion, but I wasn't a color consultant anymore. I moved into being what was called a studio artist. So my job all day was to just do makeup on people, and they would make appointments, and then so I would do, not just me and a couple other girls, like we would do all of the appointments that wanted their makeovers or whatever. Anytime someone wanted something that was more than just like a quick foundation match or a quick something or other, I would be the one to like sit that person down and do their full face of makeup. Super fun. I loved doing it. And you know, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I was pretty good at it. I got to be pretty good at it. So, oh my God, back in the day, I used to do so much fun, colorful makeup looks. Nowadays, I can't even be bothered to slap on some mascara like 99% of the time, let alone do a full face of makeup. But back in the day, I used to do lots of like fun things with makeup. So okay, so I'm working at Sephora. I ended up taking on a second job at a tattoo shop as their counter girl, just for some extra cash. And it was during this time that I really became interested in doing freelancing, like makeup artistry. Like I wanted to like branch out and do things, you know, do weddings and do photo shoots, and like I really wanted to get into that world. But it takes work, you know. You have to you know, collect and gather up a makeup kit with all different kinds of shades for all different types of skin tones. You need a big arsenal of like tools and products to do it, right? And then you also, I mean, there's other things too, like you have to, like you should set up an LLC and like a website and grow a portfolio of work and you know, all this stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I was interested in doing it. So I was talking about this to one of the tattoo artists that I work with, who at the time he was just a co-worker, I guess, at the tattoo shop, but he went on to be who is now my ex-husband. But at the time he was just someone I worked with at the tattoo shop, and he was like, oh my God, I should totally get you in contact with my friend, let's call her Messica. He's like, yeah, I should get you in contact with my friend Messica. She owns a boutique, and she's a hairstylist and a makeup artist, and you know, maybe you can start working with her and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, awesome! Like that would be so great. So he did get me in contact with Messica, and then at this time she also, quote unquote, hired him to help her design like the outer packaging for a makeup line that she was developing to be sold in Sephora. Looking back now, that is such... I would have been like, I'm gonna need to see some credentials for that. But at the time, I was like, whoa, that's so cool! Like, wow, I can't believe I'm gonna maybe be working with this person, right? Okay. So I'm in contact with Messica. We're on the phone. I'm telling her that I want to get into doing freelance work. I'm a makeup artist. I've been working at Sephora for a couple years, blah, blah, blah. But I did tell her that I do not know how to do hair, just makeup. And she's like, awesome. I have a wedding coming up next weekend. Come with me. I'll do hair. You'll do makeup. You know, I'll pick you up beforehand and we can kind of go over like a game plan and we'll talk and then we'll do this wedding. And I was like, well, I don't have my own kit. Like, I don't have a freelancing kit yet. And she's like, no problem. I own a boutique. Like, I have extra kits that my other freelancers use all the time. Like, I'll just bring an extra one and it'll be great. And I'm like, okay, awesome. So the day comes, it's a Saturday. I'm nervous, I'm excited. She picks me up. I get in the car and we start driving to this hotel. And she goes, oh, change of plans. I actually have to do another wedding in a different city. The city was like 3 hours away from where we were going to be going. So you're going to do this one alone. And I was like, wait, what? Huh? And I was like, the whole thing alone? And she was like, yep. She's like, I know you're gonna be great. You're gonna be a rock star. I know you're gonna kill it. She kept calling me a rock star, which, like, oh my God, don't call me that. But I was like, wait, I don't know how to do hair. And she was like, oh, don't worry, it'll be easy. Brides just always want loose waves. Like, they always want loose waves. Like, you're a rock star. You're totally gonna kill it. And I'm like, what? Okay. So I asked her, how many people are, because we were gonna have 3 hours to do all of this, right? Hair and makeup for the bride and whoever else. And she's like, it's gonna be the bride, her mom, and then her bridal party, which I can't remember how many women were in. It was like 5, I think, at least. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking do all that hair and makeup for 7 people in 3 hours. Like, that alone, like, I'm like stunned. But what am I gonna do? Say no? I'm not, like, I kind of felt like, okay, well, I guess so, yeah. So we get to the hotel. She gives me the kit, like a little, like a train case, and then a bag. And the bag had 2 different curling irons in it, 2 different size curling irons. And the train case of makeup, I remember, was kind of small and kind of light. But I just figured, like, okay, well, I'm sure she had a consultation beforehand with the bride, before you do, like, especially a wedding, any type of makeup artistry. You have a consultation first where you go through, like, what they want the look to be. You do, like, a trial run and you tweak it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, so she had a consultation. She knows what she needs to bring. That's why it's so small and so light. Right? So I get out of the car and I'm like, can you send, like, another person from that works for you, like, to come help? And she was like, nope. She's like, don't worry. You got this. You're a rock star. You got this. And I'm like, okay. So I take my little train case in the bag. I'm there early. I'm there like 25 minutes early. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying not to panic. I am panicking on the inside a little bit, but I'm like, all right, I'm here early. Let me sit down in the lobby, compose myself, and look in this makeup kit to see what I'm working with here. What, chances are I probably am familiar with a lot of these products. So let's just see. So I sit down in the lobby and I open this train case. And oh my God, when I tell you, I was aghast, shocked, shook, bamboozled, there were broken foundation bottles leaking everywhere. Eyeshadows that were so broken, they were ground into dust. Old, used tissues, Kleenexes, whatever, dirty Q-tips, like literal trash in this makeup kit. And I'm thinking, oh my God, is this a joke? Like, is this for real? And there must have been some usable things in there, because if it was just trash and nothing usable, I wouldn't have gone through with this. I would have called her back and been like, I can't use anything in here. So there must have been some usable things in there. But even looking back now, if I did use any of that stuff on the bride or I shouldn't have, because that shit was so contaminated. Like, I shouldn't. Oh my God. So anyway, so at this point, I'm freaking out, but I'm just thinking, I can't fuck this up. because maybe she gave me the wrong thing. You know, I'm just thinking, like, I can't fuck this up. I don't want to make this Messica and her company look bad. And more importantly, this is someone's wedding. Like, I can't fuck this up. This is someone's wedding. This is a big deal. So I go up to the hotel room. I introduce myself, and clearly I'm not who they were expecting. And they're like, "Oh, well, where's Messica?" And I'm like, "She had another appointment that she had to do. It's just me. Don't worry. I do makeup. I do hair. I should not have said that. I was like, I do makeup. I do hair. It's just me. We're gonna be so good. Like, let's do it. Let's get started." Should not have said that. But I'm panicking. I did not know what to do. So, the mother of the bride wanted to go first. And luckily, she didn't even want any makeup or anything. And she had very, very, very short hair. She just wanted like some loose waves, like a little bit of pizzazz, you know. So I do some waves on her. Very easy, very simple. No hairspray. But luckily, one of the other women had hairspray. Also, this hotel room was full of women. There were so many women in this hotel room. I don't think all of them were like part of the bridal party, but I just remember there were so many women in this hotel room. So anyway, mother of the bride's done. Easy peasy. I'm like, okay, great. So the bride, we're gonna do the bride's makeup next. And I opened that train case and I faced it away from her so she wouldn't see the fucking chaos that was going in there. And she's like, "I brought my own makeup too, if you want to use some of that." And I'm thinking, like, thank God, yes. And one of the things she brought was the Urban Decay Naked Palette. Like, oh, when I saw that, it was like the angels were singing, the Naked Palette, every bride's best friend. Like, oh, thank God. So, I can't remember what I used from that kit that Messica gave me, but with the combination of that and then what the bride brought, I do her makeup. By the grace of something out there in the universe, it turned out great. She really liked it, and it didn't seem like she was faking it. She really did. She seemed very, very, very happy with it. She looked great. A lot of the time, bridal makeup is actually very easy because they just want something that's natural, but like just with a little more oomph to it, right? Like they want to look like themselves, but just, you know, a little extra zhuzh to it. You know what I mean? So she's done. She turned out great. I didn't do her hair. I think the reason, so then it was the maid of honor, and I think it was the hairdo that the maid of honor wanted was the most complicated out of all of them. So I think that's why she went next. So now I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the challenge here. So I'm thinking she probably just wants something really curly, really, you know, I don't know, whatever. So she sits down. This woman had beautiful hair, beautiful, but it was so long and so thick, and she had so much of it. She just had so much hair. And I'm like, okay, so what are we doing? And she's like, oh, I have this picture from Pinterest. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. So also, it became very clear at this point that Messica did not do a consultation beforehand. She was just going into this totally blind, like, because everybody was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so she's like, okay, this is the idea that I had. She shows me this picture from Pinterest. It's an updo. Keep in mind, I can barely put my hair in a ponytail, okay? I don't know how to do hair. It's an updo. There's braids. There's twists. There's twisted braids. It's all happening. It's all going on. And I am now full-blown internally panicking, sweating, screaming, crying, throwing up. Like, I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, cool. I should have just been honest right there and then and said, hey, I don't know how to do hair. I was kind of thrown to the wolves here, you know, but again, I didn't want to fuck this up. So I start brushing her hair and fiddling with her hair, trying to do some braids in her hair. And I'm doing this for a long time. I'm fiddling with her hair for a long time, and it's not really looking any different, right? And the clock is ticking because we have other women that we gotta do their makeup and their hair, and we still have to do the bride's hair, right? So I don't know how long I was doing nothing with her hair for, but it was definitely a time that was noticeable because the vibe in the room was kind of like shifting. Like I could see them kind of like, are we gonna get going here? Are we gonna start seeing some braids and twists and updos happening here? So I'm like, okay, can I excuse myself? I'm gonna make a phone call to Messica real quick to see if she can send out another hairstylist to help me out, right? So I go out in the hallway and I call Messica and she answers. Shockingly, she actually answered. And I'm like, I can't do hair. Like, I can't do this. Can you send anyone out here to help me out? Like, I was like, I can do the makeup, that's fine, but I don't know how to do hair. And she wants an updo and it's a mess. And she's like, there's really nothing I can do. There's nobody that I can send. You got this. You're my rock star. You got this. And I'm like, oh my God. So I hang up, go back in the room, and I'm like, okay, she's gonna send someone. Again, I should not have lied, but I fucking did not know what to do. So I'm like, she's gonna send someone out to do the hair and blah, blah, blah. So I start doing someone else's makeup. I can't remember who it was. And clearly nobody is showing up because of course not. No one was gonna show up. So I'm like, let me call Messica again. Hang on just 1 second. So I go in the hotel room or in the hotel hallway and I call her. I don't think I even called her. I think I just went out in the hallway, like probably to just like quickly have a panic attack and whatever. So I go back in again and I'm like, okay, I have to be honest with you guys. I don't know how to do hair. I only know how to do makeup. Messica was supposed to come with me. She had something else she had to do. I thought she could send somebody else out, but she's not going to. I can't do any of your hair. I'm so sorry. But I can do your makeup. I can do your makeup if you want me to. And the bride didn't. She was so nice. I don't think she really said anything. I think she was confused. But one of the other women was like, what do you mean? Like, you don't know how to do hair? Like, why did you come out here? And I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm trying not to cry. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought I was going to have a second person with me and like, So, I was like, do you want me to help? I was like, does anybody else want me to do their makeup? And they were like, no. And they like exploded in this great act of like sisterly solidarity. They all start doing each other's hair and makeup. It's like a frenzy because at this point there's probably only like an hour and a half left, an hour and 45 minutes left to do all this shit. And then they were like, you can just go. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you. All right, bye. And I like quickly gather up all my shit and I leave the hotel. I call a taxi to go home, and I get home, and I don't think I cried. I don't think I ever cried, which is surprising. But I think I was just so fucking angry. Like, it was just anger more than anything. And I took some time to kind of like, settle down, and I called Messica after like a few hours later, and she's like, how did it go? And I was like, well, it was a disaster. You gave me like next to nothing to work with. You couldn't send anybody else to help me out with the hair. You knew I didn't know how to do hair. You pretty much just bailed on me unexpectedly. How do you think it went? It went pretty fucking bad. At this point, I obviously did not want to work with her. Didn't care if didn't care. Let her know what I really think. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I'll pay you I'll pay you more for, we actually never decided on what she was going to pay me. No contracts were filled out, no nothing. Also, good tip, if you're ever in something like this, you gotta get a contract first. You gotta get something in writing, right? She's like, I'll pay you extra. I'm so sorry. I'm sure it went great, you know, blah, blah, blah. She never paid me, by the way. But turns out Messica made it to the news because Messica was a professional, seasoned scam artist. She was arrested before any of this boutique shit happened. I didn't know about it. Nobody, my ex-husband didn't know about this. She was arrested for fraud. Did time for that a few years before she started this boutique, and then she went on the run. She was running from the police because so many people, brides in particular, complained that she would take like a deposit from them for doing their makeup. Sometimes she would do a consultation with them, but she would take a deposit from them, and then when their wedding came, she just wouldn't show up at all. Left them high and dry on their wedding day, which I'm sure is what would have happened if I hadn't done the makeup for this particular bride. I think she would have had no one. So at least I guess there is that, even though I still feel like I just ruined her whole day. So she was wanted for that, and then she fled to Texas, I think. She was also wanted for scamming someone out of $100,000 for a restaurant business venture. She took $100,000 from, I guess, a friend of hers to start up this restaurant with him, and never did it. So there was that. And then before I made this video, I looked her up just to like refresh my memory of like what happened with her. And so this was in 2012, I think. In 2017, she was arrested for fraud and identity theft for stealing the identity of a cancer patient and racking up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt in this cancer patient's name. And I do believe she went to jail for this. I'm not sure for how long. I'm not sure if she's still in jail, but I do believe that she went to jail for this one. So that's the story of how I ruined a wedding. I ruined a special day for someone. I don't know if I ruined the whole day, but I definitely ruined a part of it. Thanks to Miss Messica. Yeah, one of the wildest things I've ever been a part of. I can't believe I got tangled up with a professional fraud. Just wild. So yeah, that's that story. I hope you enjoyed. Have you ever ruined a wedding? Let me know in the comments. You know, let's talk about it. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Yeah, I'll be back soon with actual Neopets content again, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you real soon. All right, bye!